Hey everyone, this video I'm going to integrate the Swagger in product microservice. So Swagger is going to help us a lot in looking at the documentation of the services that we are developing. So if I talk about the product microservice in itself, so how we are interacting with product microservice as of now. So we have lots of endpoints here. We have this controller which have get endpoint, post endpoint, set endpoint. If I want to interact with our service, I always have to go to this postman, right? And I have to hit these endpoints, I have to remember this endpoint, I have to mention these things and all those things and send it. So postman is one way that we can interact with with our services that we are developing, right? And this is external to product service itself. This is yet another tool that we have to install in our system to interact with our APIs. Is there any other way that something we can integrate in our microservices itself, so that when it is deployed I can just send some URL to the clients, to the users, and they can see all the specifications, and they also can interact with our microservice itself without need of any other tool, and with very much ease than the postman that we are using so far. So yes, there is one way that we can do. So that is where Swagger documentation comes into picture. So Swagger in itself is a big term. So if you have heard of the Open API specification, so Swagger is all about that. If I show you the link here, so this is the official website of the Swagger, which is taking care of the documenting the APIs in a standard way that business person also can read and technical person can also read. So it's all about that. But for that to do, we have to do lots of manual efforts and write all the things, write JSON. So is there any automated way that we can do? So yes, there is a implementation of Swagger specification that is provided by the Spring Fox, which inspects our code at runtime. If I include a library and do some configuration, it inspects our API, whatever we have written in Java, it inspects that and tries to generate a document which anyone can read and we can interact with that one. So if I go with the introduction of this one, Spring Fox suite of Java libraries are all about automating the generation of machine and human readable specification for JSON APIs, Spring family of projects. Okay, and the most important part is, if I just summarize the goal, what is the goal of this one? To extend support for number of evolving standards targeted at JSON API specification that I talked about, Swagger and all those things. And it is to extend support for Spring technologies other than Spring Web MVC. So if you're developing user interfaces with the Spring, you can just interact with that, that's not an issue. But what about which are not the user interfaces, like REST, which are creating JSON documents and all those? How we can do? So Spring library, this Spring Fox implementation provides us for that. So next is, let's see how easily we can integrate this in our product microservice. All right, so just I'll directly jump to the getting started and Gradle Maven part here to take the library from here. So I just have to take this. So right now the latest version is 3.0.0. I'm just taking this part here and going to product microservice here and coming to the Gradle, build.gradle here. And among all these dependencies that we have, I have added one more, that is Spring Fox boot starter 3.0. so it is just comment something, so it is for Swagger documentation. Okay, so when there are going to be couple of libraries, we should comment specific things that what they are for. So I'm just adding that one, Swagger documentation starter, and just refresh this one. It is going to download the Swagger Spring Fox this dependencies for us, and then we will do couple of configuration and it is going to work fine for us. So it has downloaded all the dependencies for us, that is build is complete here. So now let me go ahead and create quickly a configuration file here. So we have actuator and filter configs, one more going here. So we are going to do Swagger configuration. naming it here. So first annotation that we have to use it, you have guessed, configuration, and the second one is enable Swagger 2. This one I want to use here. Now I have to do the actual configuration here. So there is one class that is docket core API from the SpringFox documentation here. So this is going to be the docket name, and I'm just annotating it with bean. And here return docket.new, and I have to say here the documentation type what I need. So I need here Swagger 2. I need to enable Swagger 2 here. So I'm just taking this one, and then next thing, there are couple of things that I can configure. There are not couple, there are many things that I can configure. So I'm just going to proceed stepwise, and I'll configure the basic stuffs first, then we'll move ahead with the advanced part. So next thing I have to do, select here, and then I have to configure paths, any path selector. I don't know, I want any path that is coming here. And after this I have to configure APIs and request handler, select here, select any here, right? And then the final thing is just build it. So now we have completed the basic configuration and we are ready to start here. So with this basic configuration, what it is going to do, it is going to pick all the controller. What it is going to do here, so all the endpoints that we have in product microservice, it is going to pick that, and it is going to create the documentation for us for that. So let's start the service now and see this in action. Okay, now our server is running here. So if you see the console, we are seeing started application here. So the last line that you are seeing here, that is failing. It is trying to register with the Spring Boot admin server that we had, but that actually is not running. That is why we are seeing this fail to register application, right? So that's not an issue, just clear it out. Let's go to the browser and try to access the Swagger UI. So coming here, and it is running on port 9091, and under this we have this Swagger UI, this URL. So the latest version, there is if you are using existing Swagger version, so there is a bit change that Swagger UI is accessed. So as of now it is accessed in this one. If you can enter this URL Swagger UI this way or this one, both are same, it is going to work the same way. So if I hit this, I'm going to get this API documentation. So if you see, these are the default details that are configured with the Swagger that are coming here. And apart from this, we are seeing the basic error, operational, and this one here. We have this product controller, which is which we have created actually here, get, put, post, add product. If I show you this one here, and this is the example value that it is being written, that it is going to return for us, right? And if you go to try it out here, it is going to give you the sample configuration, sample input that it is going to accept. So remember, when we were doing it with the Postman part, we had to write it all by ourselves, but now it has given you a format, a template which you can edit and try it out. All right, so this is what that we can do here. This is what we can fire this request with our add product here. So I'll do it in a while, but in a let me finish other part here. So you can see the responses here. It is also giving you the response example value, how it is going to return, what is going to contain here. So it is also going to give you the model that what we have configured in the backend, that is product, what it has. So if you see that we had put some validation also, number, double, minimum, maximum, and all these information we are getting here. So any non-technical person also can come here and see that, understand that what this API is trying to say. And coming down, it is also the by default responses that whether it is going to return 200, 201, 401, 403, what is the meaning of the specific status code that it is going to return. So this is what about the post API that we had here, and it is also giving you the URL that it has, right? And you can see this as well. And also you can parameter content type, you can see this by default configuration, that is JSON, it is giving you here. And the same way you can come here on the get one and you can see the try it out and configure that ID. It is saying that this is the required field in itself. You can mention it and you can execute it. It is going to give you the result. If I want to execute it, just give us some random value here. If it is present there, it is going to return, otherwise it is going to throw an exception. You see, we are getting the exception because it doesn't exist here, right? So just this is about the get one, and the same way we have delete and all other endpoint that we had configured with the product controller. But what are these basic error controller that we are seeing, get, error, error HTML? We have not configured this one. So why it is coming here? So there are lots of things that are happening at the library label itself. Okay, so if you want to restrict it, that how many controller our Swagger should return, so we can filter that out. So we are interested in our own codes, our own API that we have written, that is this product controller, and we know where it belongs in the code. I can say that we have this controller file. I want to document all the endpoints that we have under this controller, this file. So we can configure this here, right? So just copy this package here and come to the configuration part that we have here, and we have this APIs. We have this path selector and this path request selectors here. So here you have said any means all the things that are in our API, but here I can mention the base package here and I can name the specific package. So all the controller classes that are in this package, com, green learner, product and controller, they are going to come in the API. So if I do this and if I restart our application, we will be able to see the nice product controller, only this product controller that we had. Okay, so let's wait for the application to start. Tomcat started, so just refresh this part here. Yeah, now we are seeing the product controller only. Now this is nice, right? So we have this product, add product and all those things. So now just let's do some real-time interaction here. So just say brand here. I'm just giving a random value here. Car, currency, INR, discount 10, discount description, early bird, just give it an ID. Remember, this is the category ID, just let it be like this one. And here, this is the actual product ID. I do not want to mention it. I'll let the system generate it for me. Image URLs of, let's say I do not want to give it, so I can leave it as it is, or I can just give the test URLs. Okay, and name, Nexon, price, I can say what price you want to put, just give some random numbers here. And this is all the sample value, that test values that I have given here. So just execute this part here, and if you come down here, you will get the curl. If you want to get with the curl command, this is the curl command that you can get here. Request URL, it has given you what it has given us, and this is the request body that you have sent, and this is the response that I got here. So with the ID and this name and all those things, so this ID is generated automatically. And if I can take this ID and go to the This is the response header that we are getting here, and status code we are getting here 201. If you want to get the meaning of 201, you can come down here and see 201 means created. So all the information is in this user interface itself. If you want to see that ID here, just try it out, enter that ID here and execute it. You will get that result here, right? Status is 200 here. 200 means okay, it returned that result properly here. All right, and next thing, if you want to delete that product here, you can do that as much as you can do that as well. So if you execute it, it is going to return you the response product deleted. And if you now go to this part, that is was the get request, you execute it, you will get the null response that it doesn't accept. So we do not have proper exception handling for the get endpoint. We will do in the subsequent lectures here. And in the same way, you can go to the other parts product list. If you want to get it, you can just, it is not taking any input here, so no parameters it is saying, you just execute it. You can just get the response body here, and if you come down, you can download this response body as well. Come and show in folder, you can see the response that it had. So edit it. Yeah, you can see all the things here in the JSON format proper by doing just simple clicks. So this is the beauty of the Swagger that you can get. So this is the one way that you get the inbuilt user interface in itself, right? And if you want to go the other way, how it is rendering all those things, if you click on this URL, you see you get this jumbled data here. So this JSON data is being beautified by the UI itself here. So if you want to take this one, that this JSON is here, if you want to generate the documentation out of this one, you can do that as well. Just copy it, come to this URL editor.swagger.io, and they have here this console here. You just click enter this one here, and you can see all the things are here. So there are a couple of things that authorize and all those things we do not have yet here, but you can see we have this product controller, add product, and all those information you can see here, right? The same that we are seeing here in Swagger UI. So this is what I wanted to show in this video here. You can go to the Swagger editor. It is very much helpful when we are doing the open API stuffs. So open API is in different it is all about documenting your REST APIs or JSON based APIs. So that is what Swagger implementation provides at runtime by looking at the code that you have written, right, that we are getting here. So this is the basic integration that we can do with our microservices, but we can do some advanced stuffs here. We have this general term API documentation coming. If I want to customize it, each and every line I can customize it. So that I'm going to show you in the next video. We have this product controller here. We are seeing this add product, which is the name of the method that we have written. If I want to customize and want to give a general term, I want to write it in English, like a descriptive way I want to give it. So how I can do it? So there are a couple of annotation that I have to use, and they are going to SpringFox implementation is going to intercept those annotation and going to write those description for us in the UI. There is one more part of this Swagger that is on the way, that is about the advanced thing that we have this I want to add more information about these one. So how can I add that one? So we have this models category, and this we have brand ID name. What is this brand ID name? I want to add more information into this. So how I can add that? Couple of annotations, that's it. So I'm going to explain that in the next video. Okay, and after doing that, also there are security. If you have if I am going to secure our microservice, this product controller, so we should not be able to access this openly. There will be some tokens and all those things. So how I can do that? So all those about Swagger are going to come in this series. Okay, and if you have any custom use case that you are facing any issue to implement, just fire that in the comment section. Just put that in comment section. I'll be happy to help you out. Okay, so that's all about this video. See you in the next one. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye bye.